Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakadash, and the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. Rosh Dash, the Holy Tongue. And I say, Rakam, say the elders and apostles. Akim, Akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a sit down lesson of the World War III news updates as of March the 15th, 2026, on this Sunday afternoon. And this is from the Jerusalem Post. It says Iran regimes preventing technical staff from evacuating at Kaliningrad Island amid U.S. strike threats. Fires are still burning in parts of the island, with regime authorities insisting that operations at Iran's most critical oil and export terminal must continue without interruption. It says Iran arrests 500 accused of giving information to enemies, police chief says. It says only the MEU can conduct this operation. Experts explains the importance of Marine Expeditionary Unit. The Gulf state hesitates on response to Iran after regime launched more than 2,000 missiles and drones. It says sources from the Gulf states who spoke to the Post said that one reason those countries have not launched an attack is their concern about the day out. Kurdish forces are prepared to act against the regime, the PDKI officials tell Post interview. The Kurdish forces, including the PDKI, are prepared to take military actions against the Iran regime, but are awaiting the critical and stern support to move forward. It's the book of Luke 21. This is the book of Luke 21 and verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and upon the moon and stars. Yep, it says, and there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and stars upon the earth, expressive nations with perplexity. Right, so that's what we're seeing, especially with the upwards people world. We're seeing nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. We're seeing the Iran versus Israel heating up. We're seeing the pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force. You got proxy groups clashing against one another. Now you got the Kurdish forces are ready to go against the proxy groups of the pro-Iranian groups. So you're gonna have clashes heating up over there in Syria, particularly, especially over there in Iraq and Syria. So you're gonna have the Houthi rebels and all the pro-Iranian groups going against the Syrian Defense Force, going against the Kurdish armies, and then going against the Israel Defense Force as well too. So this will be seeing the nations are in perplexity, and definitely going to be seeing the wars, rumors of wars, and nation against nation, and kingdom against kingdom heating up on a daily basis. This is Mark chapter 3, in verse 24. It says, and if a kingdom be divided, except the king cannot stand. Right, so that's what we're seeing. If a kingdom be divided, except the king cannot stand. And this is Matthew 24, which I quoted. Yeah, Matthew 24, verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right, we're hearing building up, increasing wars and rumors of wars against Russia and Ukraine. We're seeing the European Union, NATO versus Belarus and Russia. We're seeing Russia versus United States. We're seeing Russia versus the Western countries that support the European Union and NATO as well too. We see this heating up between North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, and the United States that's heating up. We're seeing China versus Taiwan heating up. We're seeing China versus Philippines heating up. We're seeing China versus Japan heating up. We seeing was that tensions are heating up between the pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force. We seeing India versus Pakistan. We seeing the proxy groups clash against one another throughout Western Asia. So these are Thailand versus Cambodia, Ethiopia versus Sudan. We're seeing tensions over there in Congo. We're seeing tensions over there in Myanmar. We're seeing tensions over there in Sudan and South Sudan. So these are tensions are heating up between the nations, especially these wars and women's wars. And ye shall hear of wars and women's wars. See that you be not trouble for all these things must first come to pass, but it's not yet. Right, so it's going to come to pass, but not just yet. Matthews 24 verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation. Right, that's what we're seeing. Nation shall rise against nation, because we're seeing the nations are in perplexity. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, because you're going to have a nation within itself rise up against another nation, and then outside of another nation rise up against another nation. It's like a kingdom is going to be rising up within itself, and then outside of another kingdom rise up against another kingdom, which goes to ethnos. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, right along with it. 441 call Hello Yabashimashah. This is the prophet Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Right, so that's what we're seeing throughout Western Asia, over in the Gulf state regions, Persian Gulf, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Gaza Strip, West Bank, Palestinian territory, throughout the Mediterranean Sea, throughout the Red Sea, throughout the Arabian Sea, throughout the Persian Gulf, the Gulf regions. So these are signs of the Heavenly Father putting that warlike mindset and waking up the mighty men of these armies of nations, as the prophet Joel was mentioning. Joel chapter 3 verse 10, beat your plowshares and the swords and the plenteous and the spears, and let the weak side strong. Right, so let the weak side strong with these army groups, proxy groups, and pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force. And that's what we're seeing. It's the prophet Isaiah chapter 17 verse 1, because you had that news article about the Kurdistan army groups. Now they're ready to face the pro-Iranian groups. So these are proxy groups and the Kurdistan groups ready to go against the pro-Iranian groups. So that shows that this is a future prophecy, and they ready to go against and the Iranians continue to go against the Israel Defense Force. So this is a future prophecy that we're seeing in the making of the prophecies about Damascus. It's because you're going to have a cross-border conflict between Iraq, the Golan Heights, Iraq, Syria, near Damascus, over in Damascus, and throughout different parts of Syria, especially particularly over there in Damascus of Syria. The burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be Israel heat. Isaiah 17 verse 9, in that day shall his strong cities as be forsaken, in a uttermost branch, which they left because of the children of Israel should be desolate. Right, so that land's going to be desolate, thus saith the prophet Isaiah. And this is the book of Isaiah 13 verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. Right, so that Heavenly Father is going to stir up the Medes, the Russians against Babylon. And as for gold and silver, they shall not delight in it. Right, so as for gold and silver, they shall not delight in it. That's why the tension between Russia and the United States is heating up. So nuclear wars, trade wars, nuclear wars, sanction wars, that's going to continue to heal up between these nations and between Russia and the United States. Ever since last month of February the 5th, this nuclear arms treaty deal between Russia and the United States has expired. Now, even though they had previous talks about that, but they didn't succeed in having any progress ever since then. So that gives Russia a green light to do a nuclear capability, upgrading it now so more than ever. So expect to see if it's not going to be no more talks to extend, to renew a nuclear arms treaty between Russia and the United States. If that's not the case, hey, that's this nuclear arms race is going to increase, continue to increase potentially between Russia and the United States. Check out some more wars, rumors of wars, news articles. It says a Hezbollah war plan might involve a long war conflict, international intervention analyst says Hezbollah seems to have chosen aim for a prolonged conflict with Israel rather than a quick escalation, as the Operation War Lion entered its second week. It says the IDF it will take Iran years to rebuild its military industrial complex, but they is going to rebuild it back. IDF destroyed 2,200 Iranian regime targets, but concerns of regime change chances. Get to some more news articles. It says the Iran war could bring billions to U.S. energy firms, FT reports. It says NATO nations, it will not host nukes, but it will host tensions between Russia and her NATO. It says analyst says after Iran is Turkey next on Israel's menu. Yeah, because it goes right along with it, Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. Because Russia is going to be a god to these nations: Iran, Ethiopia, Libya, and Turkey. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, and verse 5. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with all of them, shield of helmet. Ezekiel 38, verse 6. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, all his bands, Gomer was the modern day Turkey. And all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, all his bands will be people with him. Ezekiel, because Turkey is going to be an alliance with Iran, and they're going to be going against the Israel Defense Force, especially over there in Syria and the borders from Golan Heights, Israel, and the borders of Syria and Iraq. Ezekiel 38 verse 7. Be thou prepare for thyself, all thy companies that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a God unto them. Right, so Russia is going to be a god to these nations: Iran, Ethiopia, Libya, and Turkey. They're going to be going against the Israel Defense Force. So it's going to be an economical war. It's going to be a nuclear war. It's going to be a trade war. It's going to be an oil war between these nations, and that's what we're seeing. It's like Russia gives drones to Iran and give them military intel information as well too. So Ezekiel it links up right along with that. Ezekiel the 38th chapter, as we see that playing out as we speak. Yeah, it says after Iran is Turkey next on Israel's menu. Yeah, Ezekiel 38th chapter. It says over 100 Ukrainian drones target Moscow, mail reports. That's a previous news article. It says no peace until the U.S. moves out of Persian Gulf. Senior Iranian officials, but that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's the book of Luke 21 and verse 9. Got Luke 21 verse 9. But when you shall hear, right, because that's not going to happen anytime soon. In Luke 21 verse 9, but when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Right, so it's going to come to pass, but not the end shall end by and by. So on a daily basis, you'll be seeing the rise and increasing of these modern day wars and commotions between these armies of nations, and especially particularly Iran versus the Israel Defense Force. Right, things to come. Luke 21 verse 10, then say he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Right, that's what we're seeing. This is Revelations 11 verse 14. The second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. Right, so the second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. Arm God one. So this was just a World War III. Yeah, World War III news updates as of March the 15th, 2026 on this Sunday afternoon. So hopefully this was edifying. So as we see, World War III is heating up on a daily basis, especially particular Iran versus the Israel Defense Force. So with that, I'd like to give all praise and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Wakakadash, and the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and his only begotten Son, Bahashem. In the name of Hamashiach Yahushai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the logical Gospel tongue. And I say Barakathon to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim,